You are always training your brain, whether intentionally or not. The same way that every time you interact with your horse, you're always training them, right? So when you go pull them out of the stall, when you pull them out of the field, you're training them. That interaction, that groundwork of leading them, grooming them, all of it. It's all training them, whether you mean to or not. And the same thing happens with your brain. Every anxious thought, every rushed movement, every tense moment teaches your brain and body a pattern. And it's not just in a vacuum. These are the patterns that you are teaching as a athlete, as a rider, and as a horse trainer. Because when you are interacting with your horse, you are their horse trainer. So, good news for every confident visualization, for every controlled breath and calm cue, you rewire the system, your system, for success. Let's talk into some of the fun stuff of what's happening under the hood that makes all this work.
Welcome to the Resilient Reiner, the premier podcast focused on mental performance for equestrians and improved horse show performance. Whether you're a rookie reiner or a seasoned competitor, this show is for riders who want to take their skills to the next level and achieve their full potential in the show ring. I'm Nicole Burnett, and I'm a master mindset coach who's obsessed with helping you achieve all those horse dreams you always thought were impossible. Join me each week to develop a show-ready mindset and gain the competitive edge you need to compete with confidence.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I don't know if you've heard this. This is a personal favorite phrase of mine. I love this. I'm going to say it again. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I thought everybody knew this phrase, but literally it was yesterday or the day before, I was on a walk with my husband and I said this out loud and he was like, I've never heard that before. And I thought, how have you not heard this? So send me a message. So you can send me an email or shoot me a DM on Instagram. And I seriously want to know, have you heard this phrase before? Just tell me yes or no, because I thought everybody knew this phrase and now I'm really curious. So slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It's kind of like a do it right, learn, how to do it, and then you can do it really fast. Well, of course. So let's nerd out a little bit on mirror neurons, how they apply to mental performance, visualization, horse-rider interactions. It's been a minute since I've talked about some of the science underneath what I do, and it's just so cool. I just have to share it. So mirror neurons, think of it as the brain's simulation engine. So they were first discovered, mirror neurons, mirror, like looking in a mirror. Mirror neurons were first discovered in the 1990s. So honestly, that's really freaking recent by a neuroscientist in Italy. I'm probably going to butcher his name. Giacomo Rizzolatti. Pardon my Italian. I do not speak Italian. Anyway, these guys were studying some monkeys and they observed something really fascinating. And they discovered that when the monkey picked up a peanut, certain motor neurons fired in the brain. But when the monkeys watched a human pick up a peanut, the exact same neurons fired, even though the monkey wasn't moving at all. That's pretty wild. So this led to discovery that the brain doesn't just observe, it simulates. So humans have an even more complex mirror neuron system that fires when we watch, when we imagine, or when we experience something in our mind. Our minds and our imagination are literally a superpower that we have as humans, and it does not get enough credit. So how does this apply to performance psychology, which is just fancy words for, okay, that's cool. What the heck does that mean for us as horseback riders, right? In action, doing stuff. And let me tell you. So watching elite athletes helps us improve because we subconsciously absorb their technique. And this makes a lot of sense, right? If people at top end barns, one of the reasons they're getting better is not just that they have amazing horses, but that they're watching other top riders ride. Also, athletes train, and I do mean athletes very broadly, not just you as a horseback rider. The Western community is still catching up to athletes in general, but athletes train with mental rehearsal and still build skill. This is so crazy, guys. Because the brain encodes the experience as if it were real. Like, they've literally done studies on this. If you really want to know my own special process for how I teach horseback riders mental rehearsal, I teach that inside of Resilient Reiner Academy and get into how to do mental rehearsal, how to be the most effective at it, and how to apply it as a rider. Okay, next thing. Seeing someone yawn makes us yawn. We know this. It's because our brains simulate what we see. Mirror neurons coming back in. Fear and confidence are also contagious. We mirror the emotions of those around us, right? And if you've ever been around kids, you know this. You know that if they're scared about something and you act confident and strong for them, they're willing to follow your lead. But if you are convinced that whatever is scary, they're figure that they better be worried because mama's worried too, right? And you see that in horses. This is mirror neurons in action. So as a rider, let me give you an example as a rider. So as a rider, when Tracy visualizes a flawless performance, her mirror neurons activate as if she is actually riding, which strengthens neural connections, which are just these pathways in your brain, physical pathways in your brain, making that performance, that ride, easier to execute when the moment comes. So let me say that one more time. When you as a rider, I'm using Tracy, shout out to Tracy, when you visualize a flawless ride, it literally activates your brain as if you were riding. And it activates the physical pathways in your brain, these neural connections, the same as if you were actually riding. And then when you go in the saddle to do that ride, it's easier to have that flawless ride because you have created the neural pathways in your brain for how to do it ahead of time. It's really cool. It's amazing, honestly. And one of the biggest breakthroughs in neuroscience is that your brain treats vivid mental images almost the same as real life experience. So, beware the power. Your brain is literally, it's like real, imaginary. It's just all the same. It's all the same to the, your gray lump, okay? So I have to tell you about a couple really cool studies related to this. So one is there was this Harvard study on pianists, so people that played the piano. And they had two groups of people, group 1, group 2, and they learned a new piano piece. One group physically practiced on the piano for 5 days, and the other group just visualized practicing. They never touched a keyboard, okay? They literally just imagined themselves playing the piano. And at the end of 5 days, they did brain scans. And the brain scans were nearly identical, right? Like crazy. The group who mentally practiced, so they visualized and mentally practiced but never touched a keyboard, that group had almost the same motor cortex changes as those who had physically practiced. That's insane. Okay, here's another one with a basketball free throw study. This is from University of Chicago, and they had 3 groups. Group 1, they practiced free throws daily, and they measured the improvement. And so free throws, they had a 24% improvement from practicing daily. The group that never practiced, they did nothing, they had unsurprisingly 0 improvements. And then they had a third group where they only visualized making free throws daily. So they didn't get to pick up the basketball, but they visualized it. They mentally rehearsed. And they saw a 23% improvement. Do you remember that the group that actually picked up the basketball had a 24% improvement? It's almost identical to physical practice. Holy cannoli! Like, can I beat you over the head with this anymore? It's insane. Insane. So, takeaway is that the mirror neuron system encodes mental practice as real practice. This is such a freaking cheat sheet. Like, holy cow, you don't have to get muddy. You don't have to drive to the barn. You don't have to deal with it when it's 110 degrees out. You can get benefits from literally mentally rehearsing this. This is why elite performers visualize their best reps over and over and over before big moments. And again, if you want to know exactly how to do this, I break down in detail my process for visualization for maximum effectiveness inside Resilient Reiner Academy, because there are some specifics to this to get maximum results. Now, how do mirror neurons apply to horse rider interactions? So let's kick it up a notch. Mirror neurons do not just work with one person's brain. They influence and sync up with others. It's insane. All of this stuff is just so amazing. And this is especially powerful for us as riders, because our horse rider relationships, in this interaction, in our relationship with our horses are extremely sensitive to mirroring human emotions and human energy. Why is that? Horses have an exceptionally active mirror neuron system. As prey animals, their survival depends on reading cues from herd members or humans. Studies show that horses can mirror human heart rates, human breathing patterns, and muscle tension within seconds. If a rider enters a competition tense, nervous, or rushed, the horse will pick up on it and mirror that energy, leading to tension, miscommunication, and errors. If a rider breathes deeply, projects calm confidence, and visualizes a relaxed, successful ride, the horse will mirror that state instead. Again, this is such a cheat sheet, guys. Like, it's such a powerful tool that we all have access to. So the big hack for riders: before stepping into the arena, you as a rider should mentally rehearse your ride in a calm, confident state. Not just for yourself, but because your horse will sync with that energy. So, if I were to give you a quick practical exercise for horse rider neural syncing, I can give this to you real quick. So before mounting, close your eyes and take 3 deep intentional breaths. And one more. Great job. Now, picture your horse breathing with you. So synchronizing its nervous system to yours. Then you're going to visualize the ride is already successful, and you're going to let go of tension in your shoulders, your hands, and your jaw. This mental and physical shift communicates to your horse, hey, we're in sync. We are ready. Now, for a final note, if you've ever heard the phrase, fake it till you make it, mirror neurons help explain why it actually works on a neurological level. When you act confident, even if you don't feel it, your mirror neurons creates a feedback loop that reinforces confidence. And if you are struggling with confidence, Resilient Reiner Academy is literally my A to Z blueprint that will just force you to become a confident rider. So get yourself in there. Now, when you smile, your brain assumes that you are happy. It releases dopamine, even if you weren't happy at first. If you stand tall and you breathe deeply before competition, your nervous system mirrors that power state and shifts accordingly. So these are just a couple examples here and why pre-performance rituals work. Your brain believes the signals that your body sends, and your nervous system follows. If you want to go deeper into nervous system work as a rider and how you can use that to your benefit for better rides, I go deep into that inside my program, The Mental Gym for Equestrians. Just side note. Now, let's summarize all this, because I love talking about this. And so I try not to do too many overly academic stuff on the podcast, because I assume that you want to take it and just ride better. But every once in a while, for the folks that are interested, I like to do something like this and help you get some glimpse of some of the science behind what I teach. And I think that that's so important, so that you guys understand that when I tell you to do things, it's not just out of left field. It's not some made up thing, that this is very much based in rigorous study of our brains and bodies, and that it is very proven and has very real positive impact on us as riders. And I just love that. So how do we apply this science to performance, right? To in the saddle riding. So let's do top 3 takeaways here. Now, number 1, train the brain with mental rehearsal. Full stop, okay? Train the brain with mental rehearsal. The brain encodes vivid imagery as real life experience. When you visualize a successful ride, it strengthens your neural pathways for actual success. If you want to know exactly how to do this, go join Resilient Reiner Academy. All right, takeaway 2 of how to apply this as a rider. Hack the mirror neuron system to manage pressure. If you see pressure as fuel, your brain will rewire your response. If you enter the ring with a calm, confident posture, your horse will mirror that energy, right? So hack your mirror neuron system to manage pressure. And number 3, use intentional pre-performance state changes. So what you do before you compete matters as much as your skill. Pre-performance routines, and these are things that I teach my clients, things like breathing, visualization, posture, like how to, hack your brain and body connection. All of these, when you create a pre-performance routine, it creates automatic calm and confidence because you have trained your brain and body to perform and perform under pressure. So, a final mind-blowing thought. You are always training your brain, intentionally or not. Every anxious thought, rushed movement, or tense moment teaches the brain and body a pattern. But every confident visualization, every controlled breath, every calm cue rewires your system for success. With mirror neurons, neuroplasticity, and mental rehearsal, we are literally shaping the brain and nervous system into a high-performance machine. Now, you have the deepest possible understanding of mirror neurons and performance. If this blew your mind and helped you, send it to a friend and make sure to send me a DM on Instagram so that I know that you loved it. If you hated it, make sure you send it to your enemy to properly confuse them. Let me know if you want to go even deeper or if you liked this. Thanks again for being here and nerding out on brain science with me so that we can have better rides in the saddle. All right, talk to you soon.